That's what Skevin is. People everywhere can call me and I talk wherever I need to go, and whether it's firefighters, whether it's churches, I do a lot of sermons at different churches and I share that with them, and then we also come to these, and it's easy to support the Garner family. I mean, heaven forbid, I love those guys to death, so that's easy to do. But and then we do some of our own stuff. So everything we raise here, half of all of our proceeds, because right now everything my brother and I do is strictly out of our pockets, and everything goes off to another research foundation. So I work closely with the James, just because those are my doctors. So I get to church with them more often than everybody else, and usually they let me in the front door. The other guys, I think, are kind of intimidated. They don't know if they like it. I'm a little brash, but I tell them, I said, well, I don't see this cancer saying please and thank you. So.
Were you shocked to find that out about the firefighters? I'm shocked by that.
Well, I'll tell you the sad part is, I watched a really close friend of mine pass away from testicular cancer about a year ago, and I was doing my battle, he's doing his battle. We're both in rooms at the James, and it was hard because I get to watch him go through it, and then everything I think is in my brain, and those are the stuff I try to push aside. Firefighters are 105% more chance to get testicular cancer. 105%. And we don't have legislation to protect these guys, but yet who are you going to call? Who are you going to call? You know?
I mean, like, I'm naive to it. I mean, right?
We were naive. It's what I did for a profession for 8 years. I had no clue.
So firefighters aren't aware of this in the general public.
No, and that's what we're working on now. It started a fireman from San Francisco. His name is Tony Stephanie. He did a series with HBO called Hot Seat Toxins. He had 12 guys from his department alone get this rare cancer, and they're like, this is just too coincidental. They all had the same one.
Yeah.
He's like, this is too coincidental. They were able to link that with one fire they were on that had a certain chemical inside of it. And I'm like, what more do you want from us? What more can we tell you? The problem is politics, big money, and I get that part. I get it, because you know what? People are asking for things every day. You got people faking disabilities every day. I understand that. But you know what? People, we go and do this every day and risk our lives for this city. The least we can ask that you at least try to help us out a little bit when this does occur. But you know, my lieutenant broke my heart Wednesday. One of my very first lieutenants just went down with multiple myeloma. He's up at the James getting chemo, and I'm talking to him on the phone, and I'm saying, Ronnie, don't give up. I know the stats. I know my stats. Doctors looked at me and they said, you know, you got 10 to 15% chance to make it 5 years. I said, sure, if you want to read. I'm not a book. I said, those stats don't apply to me. I said, there's one thing that stats doesn't measure is myself. They didn't measure Pet Garner. I guarantee you they didn't measure a Pet Garner. So those don't apply to me. And I told Ronnie because they gave me 10 to 12 years. I said, okay, we'll double it. And he says, no, but the doctors say. I said, Ronnie, we'll double it. If you think it will be. But I look at him, I say, Ronnie, do you know you were 53% more likely to get multiple myeloma? He's like, what are you talking about? I said, that's number 3 on the list of the 7 cancers. He's like, I've never even heard of this. He's been a firefighter 20 years.
Oh, no, why is this? Will you explain?
Sure.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
No. I'm just rambling at this point. I'm just rambling at this point.
Jane, you want to hear it?
Yeah, no, I do. So I'm Jane, by the way.
I'm Mark.
Melissa's.
Great to meet you. In 2006, University of Cincinnati did a study. What they did is they took 110,000 firemen, civilians, and they wanted to start figuring out a way why so many firemen come up with these rare cancers. What's the connection? So what they did is they ended up finding out that firefighters are more likely to attract 7 different cancers, and they made a list of them. Melanoma, you are 40% more likely to contract if you're a firefighter.
Interesting.
Reason being is there are certain chemicals that are almost everywhere now in every person's home. From the fire retardant to the furniture and the stuff they make in your house. Okay, a lot of that stuff is plastic based now. What they find is that chemical burned at a certain rate, which a typical structure fire is 1,000, 2,000 degrees, turns into a carcinogen. The equipment we wear is fire retardant. It is not carcinogen. It doesn't filter. So when we go inside, our pores open wide up. We go inside, we work in it. Our pores then absorb all that smoke, the soot. We take it in, And then without knowing, you keep
Sure.
going.
Absolutely.
And then a couple years later, you find out, hey, how did this happen to a guy like
Yeah.
me? You know, because I wasn't a tanning bed guy.
Yeah.
I wasn't fair-haired for skin. I didn't get burned all my life. And it's not genetic. I have no one else in my family with melanoma.
Well, I was curious about that. I could see, the conversations that we used to have with Peck, and like you said, when he was little, they lived outside.
Sure.
And they, were from a warm climate.
Sure.
He said there was burned,
Sure.
and you could, but that's our.
Well, here comes the argument that.
Uh-huh.
Why is melanoma not so widespread in Australia? Why is melanoma not so widespread in South Africa?
Yeah, yeah. And see, they probably, and I'm sure there's been studies.
Sure,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'll tell you this. A lot of people want to blame the sun. They want to
Yeah.
blame UV. I would tell you this. I do not blame that. Through research, what I've realized
It's
is
more chemical.
it is what you're putting on your body. So I tell people all the time, when you go to get sunscreen for your child, for yourself,
gotcha.
whoever,
Uh-huh.
get the chemical-free stuff. Go get the ADA approved stuff.
Well,
Reason
that
being
is a
is
good
because you're
point.
putting other stuff on
Yeah.
your skin that is a chemical that your body does not need. Get the stuff that's natural.
Yeah.
Because you do need to protect yourself from the sun. I mean, let's not kid ourselves. No one wants to be burned anyway. But at least put something healthy on your skin that's not going to let your body absorb more chemicals that it wasn't designed to absorb. So,
Yeah, I mean, that really, I have a brother-in-law who's his full-time job is not firefighter. He has been a firefighter, volunteer. But, and he did, his degree is in fire science engineering.
perfect, yeah.
So, but he works for an insurance company. But it'd be interesting, I need to have a conversation with him, just to see if he,
Absolutely.
has heard that.
Yeah, the
amongst-
interview I just did yesterday with WBNS TV in Columbus was about this exact topic. Yeah.
I'll have to
'Cause-
ask him, because he does a lot of training for the city of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
He's in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Which has a wonderful
Firefighters.
melanoma hospital right
yeah,
there.
Yeah, interesting. Huh?
No, but that's the thing. So it's like, what do you do with this information you now have?
Well, my husband's a firefighter, so I mean that
He
really
is?
opens my eyes. Yeah.
Full timer?
No, he's like president, and he's very involved in it. He's not full time.
You know what?
So that really brings that to
Yeah,
my
no,
attention.